Welcome to the Air Game Podcast. Cleared for takeoff, Episode 2. Today we're going deep on something near and dear to every airline's heart, revenue management.
Yeah.
But we're not just talking about the basics.
Okay.
No. We're diving into the distinct strategies of those two titans of the aviation world.
Okay.
Low-cost carriers and full-service carriers.
Interesting.
Two very different approaches, but both incredibly successful.
Yeah.
And trust me, there are some eye-opening lessons here. Like, did you know some LCCs make almost half their revenue from stuff that isn't ticket sales?
That's right. I mean, it's pretty fascinating how these two models, they've both been incredibly successful, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes this deep dive so interesting.
Right.
For our listeners out there, I'm guessing most of you are dealing with these challenges every single day.
Oh, yeah.
So let's skip Revenue Management 101 and go straight to the battle-tested strategies.
Let's do it.
You game.
Yeah. Let's start with the LCCs. You know, their whole model is built on efficiency, and that totally extends to how they manage their revenue. The big thing for them is ancillary revenue. All those add-ons like baggage fees, seat selection, the whole 9 yards.
I mean, yeah. We've all seen those extra fees pop up when you're booking a flight. But I was blown away to learn how much this actually makes up for LCC.
I know, right?
Nearly 45% of their revenue.
It's
wild.
It is. It's like they're running a flying convenience store alongside the actual airline.
Totally.
Right.
And it's smart. By unbundling those services and offering really competitive base fares, they're pulling in those price-sensitive travelers.
Yeah. And then they let the passengers kind of customize their experience. Like, they only pay for the extras they really want.
So they're putting passengers in control of their budget and their experience.
Right.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah, totally.
But how do they actually manage this from a revenue perspective?
Well, simplicity is key.
Okay.
LCCs usually have just one cabin class, and they have way fewer fare classes than FSCs. And this keeps pricing super transparent for the passenger, and on the back end, it's much easier to manage.
Got it.
You know?
So they're lean and mean on both sides.
Totally.
Customer-facing and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Is that part of why they can be so agile, like they can respond to market changes or a competitor's price drop so fast?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That agility is one of their major advantages. Plus, their point-to-point route structure keeps things simple.
Okay.
They focus on direct flights, not those connecting flights through hubs. So that also simplifies their revenue management.
Which is totally different from the FSCs who have to optimize that whole network.
Exactly.
Right.
While LCCs are optimizing individual routes, FSCs are playing a much larger game. You know, they need to think about how each flight impacts the whole network's profitability.
It's so strategic.
Yeah.
A lower fare on a connecting flight might actually make sense if it feeds passengers to a more profitable long-haul route.
Exactly.
That's wild.
It's like 3D chess, you know?
Right.
They're looking at all these interconnected routes and flows of passengers.
Totally. And they're aiming for a completely different passenger than the budget-conscious LCC traveler.
Right, absolutely. FSCs are looking for that higher yield customer.
Yeah.
The business traveler, the frequent flyer, the people seeking a premium experience.
Okay.
And they're willing to pay for it. Their revenue management is about maximizing yield per passenger, not just filling every single seat.
Okay, so their playbook is this complex dance.
Yeah.
They've got multiple cabins, way more fare classes, and they're always trying to attract the right mix of passengers at the right price.
Exactly. They might focus on filling those business class seats on a long-haul flight, even if that means some empty seats in economy.
Makes sense.
It's yield over load factor.
And to attract those high-value passengers, they've got premium services, airport lounges, loyalty programs.
Absolutely. All of that goes into their strategy of creating this premium experience and building loyalty.
So it's LCCs, the masters of efficiency, ancillary revenue, volume, and then you've got the FSCs focused on yield optimization, premium services, and that different passenger.
Yeah.
Two totally different approaches, both successful.
Yeah, it just goes to show there's no one-size-fits-all in revenue management.
Right.
Each airline has to find what works best for them, their model, their market, their goals.
But LCCs and FSCs are both facing this huge wave of challenges and opportunities as technology reshapes everything.
Yeah.
And that brings us to AI, which is having a massive impact on how airlines approach revenue management.
Absolutely. It's transforming every aspect of the industry. Forecasting demand, pricing, customer service, even ancillary revenue optimization.
Okay, so let's dive into the tech side of things.
Yeah.
How are LCCs and FSCs using AI to boost their bottom line?
Well, a really common application is in demand forecasting. AI-powered systems can crunch massive amounts of data, everything from historical booking trends to real-time search queries to even social media sentiment.
Really?
Yeah, and it predicts future demand with incredible accuracy.
So they're taking all that data, which would be impossible for a human to process, and turning it into something useful.
Exactly. And this allows airlines to optimize their pricing strategies, make sure they're offering the right number of seats at the right price.
It's like a crystal ball that tells you how many people want to fly and how much they'll pay.
Exactly. And AI can also personalize pricing, offer fares tailored to each passenger based on their booking history, their preferences, even how likely they are to book.
So instead of offering a generic price, you can target each passenger with a price that really works for them,
Exactly. It's all about understanding their needs and motivations.
which is so powerful.
Yeah. And this personalization also applies to ancillary offerings.
Okay, how does that work?
AI looks at passenger data, figures out who's most likely to buy things like extra baggage or seat selection, and then it targets them with personalized offers at a price they're willing to pay.
So it's not about annoying everyone with the same offers. It's about sending the right offer to the right person at the right time.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And this is just the beginning. We're really just starting to see what AI can do for revenue management.
Well, it definitely sounds like AI is a total game changer.
It is.
It helps airlines be more efficient, optimize pricing, personalize offers, and ultimately boost their revenue.
Exactly. But like with any powerful technology, you have to be strategic and aware of the potential challenges.
Right. So let's talk about those challenges. What are some things airlines need to think about when they're implementing AI?
Well, data quality is key. If the data is bad, the results will be bad too. It can even make existing biases worse.
So it's not just about a lot of data. It's about good data.
Exactly. And airlines also need to be open with passengers about how they're using AI. People are worried about data privacy and algorithms, so you have to build trust.
Transparency is key, right?
Absolutely. And it's about using AI ethically. It has to benefit both the airline and the passenger, not just the bottom line.
Right. It's not just about making money. It's about a sustainable business that considers everyone.
Exactly. Responsible AI means thinking about both the technology and the ethics.
Well, this has been an awesome look at how AI is transforming revenue management, but we've only scratched the surface.
It's amazing to see how AI is being used in so many different ways.
Totally.
But it's not just about the tech itself. It's about how humans and AI can work together, to create really effective revenue management strategies.
That's a great point. We've talked a lot about AI, but what about the people behind it all? What skills do revenue managers actually need to thrive in this AI-driven world?
Well, the role of a revenue manager is definitely changing.
Okay.
They're becoming more like strategic advisors,
Interesting.
using data and AI to guide decisions across the whole organization.
So it's less about number crunching and more about understanding what those numbers, informed by AI, mean for the big picture.
Exactly. Data analysis skills are super important now. Revenue managers need to be able to understand the output from AI systems. What do the insights actually mean?
Right.
And they need to be able to explain it to everyone else.
So they need to be data storytellers.
Yeah, they need to be able to take those complex numbers and turn them into a story that makes people take action.
Okay.
They also need to understand digital marketing
Right?
because so much travel booking is happening online.
Totally.
So revenue managers need to know how to reach customers online, craft those targeted messages, and optimize the online presence to get people to book.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just set the right price.
Yeah.
You have to get people to see it and want to book.
Exactly. And then you've got customer segmentation and targeting.
Right.
AI gives us so much data,
Okay.
but revenue managers need to know how to use it to identify those high-value customers, personalize offers, and really refine those pricing strategies.
It's like they're becoming customer whisperers.
Yeah.
Understanding each little group of travelers and tailoring everything to them.
It's like a mix of art and science.
Totally.
Using the analytical power of AI, but also understanding how people actually behave.
So for anyone out there who wants to be a revenue manager, or those looking to level up their skills, it sounds like they should focus on data and digital marketing.
Yeah.
But also, do not forget about the human side of things.
Absolutely. The fundamentals of business and economics are still important. But now, specialized training in revenue management is becoming more and more important.
Okay.
There are amazing programs out there, universities, industry groups, online platforms. They all go deep into the stuff revenue managers need to know, like forecasting, pricing, and using AI.
Awesome. And I bet real-world experience is still super valuable.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Internships, working in sales or operations, that kind of thing.
it gives you a much broader view of the whole airline business.
Right, because the best way to learn is by doing.
Exactly.
And things are changing so fast in this field, you have to keep learning.
Totally.
You always have to be looking for new knowledge and skills to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills revenue managers need.
Yeah.
But before we get to those real-world examples, there's one more thing from our outline that we have to talk about.
Okay.
Sustainability.
Right.
It's a huge issue for the entire aviation industry, and it's definitely going to change how revenue is made and managed.
Absolutely. With all the concerns about climate change and carbon emissions, airlines are under a lot of pressure to be more environmentally friendly. And that will impact revenue management strategies.
So how will sustainability become part of revenue management? Is it as simple as adding a carbon cost to each ticket?
It's definitely more complicated than that. One idea is to include carbon pricing models in fares.
Okay.
Flights with a bigger carbon footprint would cost more. More eco-friendly options would be more competitive.
So you're encouraging passengers to choose the more sustainable options.
Exactly. It could also push airlines to invest in fuel-efficient aircraft, try out alternative fuels, and plan better routes to minimize their environmental impact.
But calculating those carbon costs accurately, that seems really difficult.
It is. That's where revenue managers become super important. They'll need to build sophisticated models
Okay.
to consider all those factors like aircraft type, route distance, load factor, all the things that affect a flight's carbon footprint.
So it's like a whole new part of revenue management.
Yeah.
You're adding the environmental cost on top of the economic cost.
Exactly. And AI might be able to help here too.
Really?
Think about AI systems optimizing schedules and routes to reduce emissions, or even helping airlines create personalized carbon offset programs for passengers.
That's amazing. It sounds like sustainability is going to become a big part of revenue management. And our listeners out there who are dealing with these issues, they need to be thinking about this, right?
Absolutely. As the pressure to make aviation more sustainable keeps growing, revenue managers will play a key role in finding that balance between profit and sustainability.
It's a huge challenge.
Yeah,
One that could really change the whole airline industry.
totally.
But for now, let's move on to some real-world examples. Let's see how airlines are already using AI to innovate and grow their revenue. Because there are some companies out there who are putting these ideas into practice and getting awesome results.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we're back and ready to see how some of these airlines are putting these AI-powered revenue management strategies into action. You know, not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk.
Exactly. And they're getting some pretty impressive results.
Yeah. So who are some of these trailblazers? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, let's start with a big name that most people have probably heard of, EasyJet. They've been using AI for a while now, and they've really fine-tuned their pricing strategies.
Okay, what are they doing that's so special?
Their AI system analyzes tons of data, not just the usual stuff like past bookings and competitor fares, but also social media.
Social media?
Yeah, they're looking at what people are saying about different travel destinations to get a feel for demand.
Wow. So they're tapping into the buzz to figure out where people want to go and adjust their prices accordingly.
Exactly.
That's smart.
And it's working. They've seen a big boost in revenue, and passengers are getting better prices.
That's awesome. So EasyJet is definitely one to watch. Who else is out there doing cool stuff with AI?
AirAsia is another one that's really impressive. They're using AI to personalize those ancillary offerings. You know, things like baggage and seat selection.
Right.
Their system analyzes passenger data to see who's most likely to buy those extras,
Well, I see.
and then they send them personalized offers.
So much better than just blasting everyone with the same generic offers, right?
Absolutely.
Like you were saying earlier.
Yeah. Much more targeted, and their ancillary revenue has gone way up.
Okay, so we've got EasyJet killing it with pricing, AirAsia nailing those ancillaries.
Exactly. These examples show how AI is about way more than just numbers. It's about people. And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
Totally. It's about combining technology and human touch.
Yeah, exactly. As AI becomes more and more important, finding that balance between data and intuition, automation, and the human element, that's going to be key.
Well said. This has been an awesome deep dive into the world of airline revenue management. We've covered so much. Thanks for joining us to the Air Game podcast.